Europe's beauty is untamed, raw and unpredictable. We set out on a journey to see some of the country's most breathtaking landscapes. But once again, nothing went as planned. In Ireland.
No electricity, no warm water.
In our last video, I told you that this trip was supposed to be a romantic getaway for me and my husband Alpay, but it turned into an unexpected sibling adventure instead. A historic storm swept through Ireland, leaving us stranded in Dublin. Now we were finally heading west, but we had no idea what awaited us. And in hindsight, I wonder why we never really checked the news or weather forecast.
So, we are in the car now.
Yeah.
Leaving Dublin in a little bit. And I'm still getting used to driving on the left side.
Even after traveling the world for 11 months and switching between left and right side driving multiple times, I had barely ever driven on the left side myself. The last time? Almost 20 years ago, when I lived in South Africa for my studies. But like riding a bike, you never really forget. Do you? And just like that, we were on our way to Kinvara, excited for an intimate concert and a cozy night ahead. Or so we thought.
We are excited and looking forward to see a little bit more of the countryside of Ireland.
da unten parken.
Wie es aussieht, ne? Na, wir fragen mal. Bed and breakfast entrance.
When we arrived, we got the news our bed and breakfast had no electricity or water. The storm had left severe damage across the region, and there was no way to contact us. We had no choice but to move on. Then, our main reason for coming to Canberra, the intimate concert with the Australian duo Sage, was also cancelled. No power, no connection, no way to reach us. Everything we planned for that night had fallen apart.
Oh, it's crazy. So we were talking to Sage and they're in...
So here are the hosts for the concert we wanted to attend in the evening.
They don't have electricity or anything like that either, but...
Really?
And we've never had our electricity gone for 2 days. So like we're hopeful that they will have it back tomorrow, you know.
Yeah.
You can stay here with us now, but we've no food or any ways to cook it out or anything is the only problem.
Oh, good.
Or like if you just want to drive to get something to eat an hour or more, come back here. I promise you're welcome. More than welcome. We don't have any other plans.
Good to know. Thank you so much.
We're just going to keep the fire going and bring in the couch and play cards.
Yeah. Well, that's
Lovely.
Like the olden days.
They spontaneously invited us to stay. Candles, a warm wooden fire, and a night of card games was promised. Martin was all in, but I just wanted one thing: to call Alpay and the kids. I needed to let them know we were okay.
Yeah, we don't want to be on your way here. And that's why I would like to try to get to Galway now, as long as it's still kind of bright.
So there,
Yeah.
Lots of nice pubs,
not
like
the same
brewery
as-
and the Passion.
And Galway was calling. Well, we had to take a couple detours, but our mood was great.
It's just crazy. I love those kind of
yeah, it's an adventure.
So here we were in Galway now and still saw some of the storm precautions. But Galway had power, warmth, and exactly what we needed: a hotel and a moment to breathe.
Hey there.
Hi,
You wanna?
I smell salt.
You smell salt. Where are we right now?
We're in Galway, in Western Ireland.
Yes, Western Ireland. Galway girl. We're looking for the Galway girl. And Martin smells some salt. What does that mean? Besides the fact that it's raining. And it feels colder here than in Dublin.
Oh yeah.
We are at the water now. The West Coast. Really. It's not what I want to say, but I forgot what I want to say, so. Let me show you. First of all, there are some boats over there.
And there are two bigger ships.
There are two bigger ships. Let me see whether I can.
Even in the middle of chaos, island spirit never fades.
Yeah. It's very dark because it's not that late actually. It's only like 6:30.
There are some stars, so
Oh, there are stars. But it's raining. Where can we see stars when it's raining? Yeah, so the weather has been crazy all day. And our adventure took our road trip took an adventurous turn as well. But now we are in Galway, and oh, now I remember what I want to say. Galway is supposed to be like the silent capital of Ireland.
the culture capital.
The culture capital, okay, the culture capital, cultural capital of Ireland. So everyone knows that Dublin is actually the capital, but like if you are more into Irish culture, they say you have to come to Galway. Maybe to look for the Galway girl that Ed Sheeran sings about, I don't know.
There's
Maybe
the
something
Galway
else.
girl. Saoirse.
Who?
The ship named Saoirse.
That's how they pronounce it?
Yes, it's Gaelic.
That's Gaelic?
I think. Yeah.
Well, I never learned Gaelic, which is like the Irish language, right?
Me either, yeah.
Well, do you want to take one of those boats to... No. Well, then see you back in Germany. So, did you choose the boat? Which one do you want to take? This one?
I don't know how to spell it, but
Well, if you can't spell it, then maybe you shouldn't take it. It actually looks like there's no sail on there, so maybe
that's fine.
you'd rather take another one? Okay, so now he's climbing up. Slippery when wet, yes. He's coming up over there. So if you want to get in trouble, just take Martin with you.
It's my second first name.
Really? Trouble?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So where are we going now?
To
Let's
Christina.
check out
Our
Christina.
mom.
It's our mom, yeah. She's called Christina. Mach jetzt mal aus, weil meine Finger frieren ab.
Okay.
There's a crazy man behind me. Can you see him? Oh, that's creepy.
The night before in Dublin, Martin had said that he could imagine eating fish and chips. Well, here in Galway, we found this cute restaurant that seemed to be specialized on fish and chips, and many locals enjoying the food inside. Afterwards, we headed back to the hotel. On the streets, we couldn't hear any music, only feel the rain. And because we were tired anyways, we just headed inside the warm, and I was just happy to be able to call Alpay and the kids at home. Next morning, after a good night's rest, we headed north.
As you can see, we are still driving through Galway, which I heard this morning is a place of not just like a cultural hub, but also of kind of like riots and demonstrations, because Ireland is facing challenges due to very high housing prices as well as large numbers of refugees that the government wants to take in, but there are not enough houses here. So prices go up, people can't afford to live here anymore. And we actually saw that in Dublin, where there are tents pretty much in every corner of the streets. People who can't afford to live in a house or apartment or flat anymore, so they are living outside. They said that there are quite a lot of shelters, but they are already pretty filled up. So anyways, here in Galway, supposedly people went on the streets to demonstrate against it. Probably not just here, but that's what I heard, that they did it especially here. But as we are leaving the city now, looking for the more natural side of Ireland. So come along. Come along.
The roads were icy sometimes, as you can see. the air freezing, but the reward absolutely worth it. Because here we are the Connemara now. Ireland, where it is at its purest.
Hello
Hi.
and good morning from the Connemara in Ireland. We left the cities behind. Dublin was yesterday morning. Galway was last night. And now we are a little bit further north of Galway, just about an hour drive by car. It was actually quite slow because the roads are icy, and from the storm there are still debris, trees, and even electricity lines on the ground sometimes. And now we were hoping to explore some of the Irish nature here in the Connemara. I picked out a medium rated trail. It's supposed to be not even 10 kilometers long, but supposed to be around 3 hours long. I don't think that we will go all the way because we have more plans. And I'm not that sure whether Martin is appropriately dressed with his shoes. But we are optimistic and looking forward to it, aren't we?
Yes, we do.
Hast du eine Mütze dabei?
Yeah.
Okay. I just asked whether he had a hat with him because the wind is quite chilly. And there is even some, it's not really snow, it's more ice on the path here. But first up, there's a gate we have to go through. Farm animals on trail. Ah, ich sehe schon Schafe. Oh no, it's Martin.
I'm not a sheep.
Okay, so isn't this beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful. When we left Galway, the sun was really shining and almost no clouds. There are quite some dark ones over here. So come along and enjoy Ireland's nature.
So, the Connemara in Western Islands County, Galway, is special for its rugged beauty, rich cultural heritage, and wild, untouched landscapes. What do you think? Can you imagine hiking here? We thought the ever-changing light and weather added to its mystical charm.
Now we can even do some moderations again.
Oh.
Because you want to say what just happened?
No.
No, you know. This man just lost the microphone.
Which man? I will see him. He has to give me money.
But he also found it again, so all's good. All's good. Let's keep on walking. So there are some Connemara sheep right behind me. Aren't they cute? And here on the path actually, there's another one coming up. So I'm gonna turn the camera now, try to get as close as possible, we'll see. They survived the storm 2 nights ago. Probably tried to hide here behind some rocks, I guess. I was just thinking, when you see those landscapes here, would you think of Ireland? Because to be honest, I visited Ireland when I was 16. I spent a summer here in Ireland for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks back then. And everything was green. By the way, there's another Connemara sheep behind me. And there are a few more coming up here in front of me. So anyways, when you see those landscapes, would you think of Ireland? I've never been to Iceland, but to be honest, that's what I imagine Iceland to look like. It also reminds me a little bit of Tasmania in Australia. Oh, I don't speak Gaelic or Irish. So it looks like they are scared of me. Maybe I said something wrong. It wasn't my intention though. So, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think this landscape looks like. It also reminds me of Japan. When Alpa and the kids and me, we visited Japan. One of the volcanoes, I can't remember the name right now. We visited a national park there and came very, very close to an active volcano. The landscape over there looked kind of like this one here as well. But what do you think? Is this what you imagine Ireland to look like? So we're on our way back to the car now, because we have more plans. What else do you want to see?
The cliffs of Moher.
Yeah, let's try to go to the cliffs of Moher. Hopefully we will see them. Not too much in clouds. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, but I mean, it's Ireland. It always rains here, I guess. So we said, let's first go to the Connemara and then do the cliffs of Moher afterwards, because if you catch them in sunlight, that would be really rare anyway. So I wouldn't mind seeing some clouds there, maybe even a little bit of rain. We have good gear with us, but hopefully we'll see a little bit of the wild side. See you there! So, we made it. It was a long drive, but we are now near the cliffs of Moher. We had quite a lot of traffic in Galway, so it took us much longer than expected, but now we are here.
The cliffs of Moher, one of Ireland's greatest wonders. And I had acquired tickets online for entry between 11 a.m. and
2:59 p.m. We arrived at 3:05, which is not that much later, right? But if it was Germany, you wouldn't be allowed entry now. Luckily, we're not in Germany. Luckily, we're in Ireland. And here, the guy at the entrance gate said they are quite linear here. I have no idea what that means. I actually have to look this up because I never heard about the word linear. But I guess like maybe a little bit more laid back, not as strict. So luckily we didn't have to pay again. We could just go in and we can already see it in the distance. And the sun is shining.
A little bit.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna turn the camera in just a little bit and hopefully you can enjoy the same view.
Like we do.
Do you want to add anything?
No.
It's not misty, it's not foggy, so let's check it out.
Rising majestically from the Atlantic Ocean, the cliffs of Moher are one of Ireland's most breathtaking natural wonders. Here, they might not seem as majestic, but towering over 200 meters high, more than 700 feet, and stretching for miles along the wild west coast, they offer stunning views. There's also a tower that you can climb up to for even better views. There's also a visitor center with a cafe and small shops for souvenirs. Here you can also learn that the cliffs of Moher are home to thousands of seabirds and steeped in ancient legends. These cliffs are truly a place where nature's power and beauty collide.
The battery is almost down and the day is coming to an end. But we still made it. We actually went into the visitor center, looked at the exhibition with a 4D experience, like a movie where you feel the wind and everything. Really nice. And then we already walked back to the car, put some souvenirs in the car, and then decided let's go back one more time because the sun sets right now. And isn't this beautiful? So another day is coming to an end. Tomorrow morning, Martin and I will fly back to Germany, to Hamburg. So when we get up tomorrow and the sun rises, we'll already be at the airport in Dublin again, when everything works out, to fly back. But I think that's a really beautiful end here. Come along and enjoy it with me, just for another second or two.
On the way back to Dublin, we realized once again how bad the storm had been. Entire towns were without power. Families huddled together in service stations, being fed by generous staff who stayed open long past closing time. The resilience, the warmth, it was incredible to witness. We had underestimated the storm, and we had been caught off guard. But we wouldn't change a single second of it. This was an adventure we'll never forget. Ireland is wild, beautiful, and unforgettable. If you've enjoyed coming along for the ride, make sure to hit like, because apparently YouTube loves that. If you are new here, subscribe so don't miss more unexpected travel moments. And tell us in the comments what's the craziest travel experience you've had recently. Thank you for watching our travel journal.
See ya in Hamburg next. Bye!